Oi, tudo bem? It's Lorena Machado again, and today I'm gonna be talking about Black November, the month we black people here in Brazil chose to celebrate black people's lives, black people's history, and black people's legacy. Well, you might be wondering, if abolition in Brazil happened in May 1888, why do we choose November to celebrate black people?
The National Day of Zumbi dos Palmares and the Black Consciousness Day, celebrated on November 20th, was officially instituted in Brazil. The dates refer to the death of Zumbi, then the leader of Quilombo dos Palmares, the greatest Maroon community in Brazil, located between the states of Alagoas and Pernambuco in the northwest region of the country. Although born free, Zumbi was captured at the age of 7 and handed over to a Catholic priest, from whom he received baptism and was named Francisco. He learned the Portuguese language and the Catholic religion, even helping the priest in the celebration of the Masses. However, at the age of 15, he returned to live in the Quilombo, from which he fought until his death in 1695. Zumbi was killed in 1695, on November 20th, by what we call a bandeirante named Domingo Jorge Velho. The date of his death, discovered by historians in the early 1970s, motivated members of the unified black movements against racial discrimination at a congress held in São Paulo in 1978 to elect the figure of Zumbi as a symbol of the struggle and resistance of enslaved blacks in Brazil, as well as the struggle for rights the Afro-Brazilians claim. With that, November 20th became the day to celebrate and remember the struggles of blacks against oppressions in Brazil. For this reason, May 13, the date on which the abolition of slavery took place, was totally left out of the picture. We argue that May 13 represents a false freedom, since, after a law called Lei Áurea, black people were left out as part of the country's development, and were left without any kind of assistance or public politics, left in the streets with no supports, no rights to land, education, or any other rights. Even worse, people wouldn't give no jobs or support for black people who were set free. So, most of the times, these people had to stay back in plantations and keep living just like they were before, like enslaved people. For the black movements, May 13 in 1888 does not actually represent the abolition of slavery, much less is a date that dialogue with the desires of the descendants of Africans in Brazil. In addition to representing an agenda that expressed the interests of a white society, this date is materialized by an act by which a law is signed with two inexpressive articles that obviously says nothing about the political and social inclusion of black men and women as citizens. Furthermore, the non-recognition of May 13, 1888 as the day of freedom for this population also means that enslaved people in the country was already objectively organizing and fighting for our own freedom, a fact that demonstrates the protagonism of the Quilombola people in the dynamic of the abolition of slavery. Therefore, it was necessary to think of a date that would represent this population in a way that would signify that the search for human emancipation of black men and women in Brazil was made by black people.
So, that's the main difference. We want to celebrate someone that really matters to us, someone who really fought for us, who gave his life so black people here in Brazil and all over the world could be free. We want to celebrate Zumbi because when we are calling for Zumbi's spirit, we are calling for strength, for guidance, and for freedom for black people here in Brazil and also all over the world.